Hello everyone, my name is Claire and I'm here today to talk to you about an incredibly exciting program called Astro Pi that allows you to send a computer program to space. But before we delve into Astro Pi, first let me tell you a little bit more about the charity that I work for. So I work for a charity called the Raspberry Pi Foundation, and our mission is to put the power of computing and digital making into the hands of people all over the world. We have tons of really exciting projects and free resources that we offer to young people and teachers. So any teachers watching, I really recommend you go to the URL that's shown on the screen here, because there's loads of free cool activities that you can do. But anyway, let's get to why we are all here today, which is to talk about our flagship and very exciting program, Astro Pi. So what is Astro Pi? Well, Astro Pi is an ESA education project that's run in collaboration with the charity I work for, the Raspberry Pi Foundation. And it offers young people like you watching the amazing opportunity to conduct scientific experiments and investigations in space by writing computer programs that run on Raspberry Pi computers that are on board the International Space Station. And I'll tell you a little bit more about those computers in a little while. Over 25,000 young people participated in the Astro Pi Challenge this year, and I'm going to explain how easy it is for you to get involved in the challenge that's going to start again in September of this year and become a real-life space scientist. But first, let me explain what an Astro Pi actually is. So you can see, hopefully you can see the Astro Pi on the computer your screen now. And this is essentially the Astro Pi, and we have two of them on the International Space Station. So here you can see the two Astro Pis that we just sent up actually in December of 2021 to the International Space Station. And you can see them floating around in microgravity. But just to give you a bit of an overview of what these brilliant little machines are. So each unit contains a Raspberry Pi 4 computer, which is a tiny computer that fits in the palm of your hand, a high quality camera, a camera lens, so you can take some really cool photography looking outside of the window on the ISS, looking down at Earth. And then there's some really cool sensors so that you can experiment and discover what the environment is like in space on the ISS. So sensors include a humidity sensor, a PIR sensor, which detects movement, so you may be able to detect an astronaut walking by, a color sensor, and much, much more. We also now have a machine learning accelerator on the ISS, allowing more experienced coders to do some machine learning in space. And now that I've talked you through what an Astro Pi unit is, I just wanted to show you this really cool video of how the sensors can be used. So this is a video showing the astronaut Luca Parmitano on his birthday in 2020, using the humidity sensor and the LED matrix that's on the front of the unit to blow out a candle on his birthday cake.
Okay, ESA team, it's my birthday and I have my birthday candle and I hope I figured out which one is the humidity sensor, so I'm just gonna blow on my birthday on my candle and happy birthday to me. Oh my gosh! Buon compleanno! This is amazing. Thank you so much.
Cool, huh? Right, so now hopefully you have a better understanding as to what the Astro Pi unit is that you would be using as part of the challenge. I also want to just quickly mention how this all began. And it started back in 2015 when the astronaut Major Tim Peake, had his Principia mission. The Raspberry Pi Foundation at that point had worked with the UK Space Agency for this initial project. And having Tim Peake, a British astronaut, going to the ISS was a really big deal at the time. And this movie captures the crowds and the excitement at the London Science Museum on the launch day when the Astro Pi went to space. Okay, so now hopefully you understand what the Astro Pis are and a little bit about the history of the programme. So now I want to talk to you about the missions that you can take part in when the Astro Pi starts again in September of this year. So depending on your coding experience, you have 2 missions to choose from. So you have Mission 0 or Mission Space Lab. So let's start with Mission 0, as it's perfect for those of you who are new to coding, as it takes you through step by step how to write a simple piece of Python code that will allow you to send a message to the astronauts on board the ISS. And you do this by using our online emulator, which is an exact replica of the Astro Pis that we have on the ISS, but it's one that you can access from your computer. So it allows you to test out your code. If you go wrong, it doesn't matter. It will tell you what you need to fix, and you can kind of work through it and get your code exactly how you want it before you send it off to the ISS. So it's a really helpful tool. So it's simple, and all of our resources will take you through the activity step by step. So all you need to do is take a reading from one of the sensors on the Astro Pi, and then also display the friendly scrolling message that will display on the LED matrix that will be seen by an astronaut. So if your program runs without errors, we will then send it to the ISS, where it will be run for 30 seconds. Your team at the end of it will get a really cool certificate featuring a signature from an astronaut that you can put on your wall, and you can show your friends and your family that you are a real life space scientist. And as you can see on screen now, this is just an example of a scrolling message being used on the LED matrix. So you can write just a simple message, as I showed you before, or you can get really creative. And this is just an example of some of the amazing pictures that teams created using the LED matrix last year. And speaking to all you teachers out there, I definitely encourage you to put Mission 0 into your plans next year. You don't need to know how to code to participate in Mission 0, and the activity can be run in a single lesson. So why not go to astro-pi.org/mission 0 to read the step-by-step guide as a starting point, so that you know what to expect, and then you can go ahead and start planning. And me and the Astro Pi team love nothing better than seeing the happiness and pride on the faces of the young people who participate when they find out that their code has run in space. Okay, so that's given you a good overview, I hope, of Mission 0. I'm now going to talk to you quickly about Mission Space Lab. So Mission Space Lab has 2 themes, life in space and life on Earth. Life in space is all about measuring the local environment on the ISS in the Columbus module, where the astronauts do a lot of work and even occasionally sleep when it gets really crowded. Life on Earth uses the camera pointed down on Earth, as you can see in the picture on screen here, as it's pointed out the ISS window. And Mission Space Lab is better suited to young people who are already pretty confident in coding, as you'll be using your skills to complete scientific experiments in space using the sensors and the camera that's on the Astro Pi. So over the years, teams have captured some really amazing images. So this is just a few from this year. So here you can see that one of the teams managed to capture the Soyuz spacecraft on its final approach to the ISS, which is pretty amazing. And this team managed to capture a lightning storm, as you can see in the bottom right-hand corner. And Mission Space Lab teams get 3 hours to take photos during their experiment. And this is a speeded up time lapse of one experiment as the ISS moves over the Earth 17,000 miles per hour. Pretty incredible, right? Okay, so now we get to the important part, because we would like to invite you to take part in the Astro Pi Challenge in September this year. Your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to head to the Astro Pi website at www.astro-pi.org, read up about the 2 challenges, Mission 0 and Mission Space Lab, and think about which challenge is right for you. And then sign up to get updates on the launch this September, so you'll be the first to know when you can register your team to participate. You can find the sign up box on our homepage, which I'm just showing you now on screen. So I would like to finish today by sharing with you some footage of the Earth that was taken from the International Space Station, so that we can just take a moment to reflect and appreciate our beautiful planet that we call home. You too can explore space and become a real life space scientist with Astro Pi. And I really hope to see you all register for September's challenge soon. Once again, I'm Claire Given, and I thank you all for listening.